All right, Lions fans, let's talk about your Lions, I suppose. I want to talk about if Matthew Stafford is considered elite or not. And of course, in my personal opinion, no, he is not elite. Can I win with him? Yeah, I can win with him, but he's not elite. And let me go ahead and break out my tier of what I consider elite. My idea of an elite quarterback is someone who can win no matter what the situation is. You can put him on the worst team, he wins. In other words, what I mean by that, he may not win a Super Bowl, may never get to uh, the championship of each conference, yet and still the team ultimately improves. Not just a year, they just improve. They just go as he goes. So, say for example, you when Brett Favre left, Aaron Rodgers took over. The team was pretty much going. I believe Aaron Rodgers was up under who was the head coach? Can't even think of his name, but he's from the Bill Walsh tree, I believe. Uh, I'm drawing a blank who the guy is, but anyway, what the point of me saying that is they had a system, and so they was able to like infuse Aaron Rodgers to that system. It was already a well-oiled machine that he could just plug and play, right? So, but I don't include Aaron Rodgers as elite in my example of what I consider elite. I consider someone like John Elway before the Super Bowls. I mean, before winning the Super Bowls, when he went to a Denver Broncos team when they had Dan Reeves as his coach, and well, I believe Steve Atwater was like their best defensive player, and I think they eventually got Bobby Humphrey as their running back, and they had a few receivers like Vance Johnson and Mark Jackson, I believe. And this, of course, before they had Shannon Sharp and all that. But it was pretty much the bottom, and he turned the team over. Now, so that's one example. Then you get another example in a guy like Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning is a guy who went uh, to the Colts, and they was what hopeless for years. I mean, they was in the same situation like the Lions were when they drafted Matthew Stafford. They was getting quarterback after quarterback after quarterback after quarterback, and no one can say that they pretty much had a system ready to go. I think their best player that they had was Marshall Faulk, and I think he was with Peyton Manning for 1 year, I believe, before he got traded to the Rams, and we know how that turned out. But they didn't really have anybody there, but they was able to build something around Peyton Manning because Peyton Manning was a leader. He was he was elite, to say it that way. He was elite. Even as a rookie, he was elite. It didn't matter if he was getting you like a massive amount of interceptions or whatever the case may be. His head, he just saw things that everybody couldn't see. So this is the thing that this is why I don't consider Matthew Stafford as an elite quarterback. He don't meet the tangibles on my standards on my standard chart of that you could build a bottom filler team on their shoulders and they progress as that quarterback progress. I never really see Matthew Stafford progress in a way that it impacted the team. I saw him progress in a little step here. Maybe he became more mobile in the pocket. Maybe he learned how to run and so forth. He always had the capability of throwing just about every throw. But did that ever equate to the improvement of the team? Now, his improvement may have got him out of a few plays here and there. Nonetheless, he's still getting 17, 18 sacks a game. Now, somebody can say, well, that's the offensive line. That's the offensive. That's the line coaching. That's the coordinator. That's the head coach. That's the general manager. Look what Peyton Manning had to deal with. Look what John Elway had to deal with when he went to Denver. When Dan Marino went to Miami. You look at this quarterback when he was first drafted to these teams, and of course you got some teams that are like, well, look at Mitch Trubisky. How come he wasn't able to succeed? Mitch Trubisky is just not elite quarterback. That's the point. What I'm saying. He went to a situation that is accustomed to winning, but he couldn't win. Matthew Stafford went to an organization that's not accustomed to winning, and he couldn't win. And the point what I'm making is that you took a guy like John Elway that went to a team that at the time wasn't accustomed to winning. You took a Peyton Manning who went to Indianapolis wasn't accustomed to winning, and they figured it out. Tom Brady, when he went to New England, they was not accustomed to winning. Now people say that was Bill Belichick's system. Tom Brady still has to execute it. He still has to take what he see on the board and execute it. So Matthew Stafford is not elite, or better yet, definitely what they want to label him as a franchise quarterback. I don't. That's tough because the standards of a franchise quarterback is what? That you throw a whole bunch of yards. You know, okay, is Warren Moon a franchise quarterback? People probably would say no, he's not. I don't even know if he made the Hall of Fame yet. If he did, then forgive me. But it was an argument about should he make the Hall of Fame. And I would take Warren Moon over Stafford any day because Warren Moon is a winner. Not just a winner because, in fact, people say the quarterback situation shouldn't evolve or shouldn't come to a result of wins and losses. But you have to take that into consideration because, in fact, you hold the ball predominantly most of the time. Very specifically on the offense, when offense is up for possession, you hold the ball. So you're responsible. You're not responsible for everybody being in position, but you're responsible for putting everybody in their position. The team goes as you goes. There's a reason why the quarterback gets the most money because they hold the most responsibility. I don't think Matthew Stafford is a franchise quarterback. I believe he handled it the best way he knew how. I believe Matthew Stafford is a good quarterback for Chicago Bears type team. You know, who when they traded for Jay Cutler and they was a quarterback away. Matthew Stafford is great for that type of situation. But to build off of him and establish something from the ground up, no. By default, I believe they got the best player in that draft because in comparison to whatever they could have gotten, no. You're not going to get Freeman. You're not going to get Sanchez. You're not going to get any of that as your quarterback. So I believe he was the best pick. But to say that he's a franchise quarterback, I can't. I don't know how the fans could say he's a franchise quarterback for the Lions. Why? Because he did things that he never done before, such as what? Throw a whole bunch of yards. How did he make a receiver better? I mean, people say, well, Golden Tate didn't have the numbers till he got here. Well, Golden Tate didn't probably have the opportunities as he did when he got here, and he just took advantage of it. You know, majority of the Golden Tate plays came after the catch. It's not that Matthew Stafford threw him in stride or something like that, or threw an accurate pass where he can make whatever. Majority of the plays that Golden Tate made was that when he caught the ball, it was his ability to get the yaks and actually to get open and so forth. Matthew Stafford didn't throw anybody open. You know, I mean, it's like he could make all the throws except for the accurate throw. You know, he can make all the throws except for throwing the player in stride. That will come every now and again. It just wasn't his game. So when I look at like a franchise quarterback, or I look at it as when I look at an elite quarterback, I look at that type of deal. It doesn't matter where you're drafted. I could care less about that. That's equivalent to saying the wins and losses. You know, I can't do anything about that. I got to, where a team is placed to draft you, that's based upon the team. That's the same thing for like the win-loss record. I can't base that up solely upon the quarterback. However, in where you're drafted, I'm looking at you to make that situation better. Some people say he made the team better in comparison to what? What? I mean, the best record they had was 11-5. Would you solely say that Matthew Stafford was the head of that? Or would you say they had a pretty much potent defense that led them to 11-5? Matthew Stafford was just serviceable. If he was elite, they would have surpassed 11-5. Not 11-5 in record, but they wouldn't got bounced out in the playoff if he was elite. So, and if so, they would have repeated the next year. It wouldn't have been a fluke of a thing because he's just that good, right? If it was on his shoulders that he carried the team, like people say that he has, the fans say that he carried this franchise. If he carried this franchise, if he did it once, he could do it again. The reason why Green Bay Packers win is not because the coaching staff, it's because they go as Aaron Rodgers go. he is elite. Now I don't say he's elite based upon the win and losses. I say he's elite based upon the team goes as he goes. If he decides to say, like, hey, we're not going to lose this game, they're not losing that game. But if he checked out, he checked out. So it is how it works with him. But that team does not go from the bottom to the top without Aaron Rodgers. You could bring any coach over there is Aaron Rodgers. The same thing with Tampa Bay. I mean, not Tampa. We can say Tampa Bay now, as well as what I'm saying. Speaking of Tom Brady, as well as he was with Bill Belichick. I mean, that team goes as he goes. He sees things that he's not stuck at being a competitor. He's able to execute. In other words, he's able to see things. There's a clip of him at a round table with Bill Belichick, and I believe there's a few other Hall of Famers, and he's having a discussion about his off-season talk with Peyton Manning. This is Tom Brady we're talking about, and he said that he was asking Peyton Manning about something, about a very specific play that his guards was able to, do a certain thing. And he was asking about, like, why would you be able to doing this? And okay, so he took that to Bill Belichick, and they put that into their sets. And every time they played against Peyton Manning, they would use it. So am I saying Tom Brady is a cheater? No, I was saying Tom Brady is smart. Like where his liabilities are, he makes up with his head. You put him on a Tampa Bay team, and they instantly go into the Super Bowl. This is arguably, I can't say it's the same Tampa Bay team that it was a year before they got him, but it's in the same hole. The team just believes when he got there, oh, we're gonna win. Because he's a winner. He figures it out. Matthew Stafford took 13 years in his organization. You can't win every game as a quarterback by yourself. I get that. But at some point, the players around you have to believe in you. I don't believe nobody believed in him to take them to the next level where they want to go, where they want to bust through the wall for him. I believe when the Lions won 11 games, or if they won 9 and 7, it wasn't based upon the quarterback. It was based upon the overall play of a team. That's the history of the Lions. They, as an overall team, they succeed. But arguably I could say that Barry Sanders, and if I were to debate what I just said, Barry Sanders carried that team. They just didn't get he just didn't get no help. He just didn't. So he didn't get anybody to step up to his level of consistency. He can only do what he can. Matthew Stafford, it's like I would say he's above. I would say he's above Eric Kramer, but not by much. Eric Kramer got you to an NFC title game. In other words, he won a playoff game. And somebody could say, well, that team was better. The Lions was 11-5 with Matthew Stafford. They were 11-5. The team goes as he goes. I don't think the team believed in him because it was like somebody was always pushing him to take the next step. Within the team. You would hear Nate Burleson and you hear different players would say, Matthew Stafford need to be that guy. But Matthew Stafford is not that guy. That's why I can't consider him as a franchise quarterback. He's not that guy. He's one of the guys. But he never took that. Like, say, folks, we're about to make this point. They're talking about trading him to a team that the team is everything the Lions wasn't. You're talking about maybe like a running game, maybe an offensive line, maybe a defense. Everything, and he will be perfect for the. That's the point what I'm making. That's why I'm saying he's not a franchise quarterback. He is just that. How he's going to a team this year that's tailor-made for him, it's like how he came into the Lions. It has to be tailor-made for him. When you went to you're talking about Peyton Manning or Tom Brady or Joe Montana, it wasn't tailor-made for them. They had to figure it out. Matthew Stafford never figured it out, so he's not on my scale. just because of that. I can't pin the win or losses on him. I can I can trade him based upon the win or losses, not because he's the cause of it, because in fact that is above his head. That's a shadow on his back that he can't get off. Oh, that's a monkey. Let me not a shadow. That's a monkey on his back that he can't get off. I don't know why. But so, and he tried. He tried 12 years, whatever, uh, to make that happen. He gave it. He did his very best, But I will put him in that self same class as the Phillip Rivers, the Matt Ryans, and so forth. You if that's all that you have, then that's all that you have. But what made Tom Brady good is not that the fact is that he had the arm talent of a Aaron Rodgers or a Peyton Manning, or he didn't have the brain smarts of the maturity as a Peyton Manning. What makes Tom Brady so good is the fact is he's able to take something somebody else does and implement it. He's able to see it. So if you draft him in the sixth round, it doesn't matter. His competitive nature is going to allow him to that chip to keep coming back, working the opponent. That means he's always going. That's why him and Bill Belichick work good as a tandem. They was always willing to go to grab more information. I don't know if Stafford just don't look like his game ever improved. He was the same player year in, year out. Some people say, no. He learned how to scramble. But you're still not throwing the ball out of bounds. Instead of you taking a sack, you're not throwing the ball out of bounds. You're keeping the ball too long. 12 years. He's doing the same thing what he was doing the first few years that he's doing in his 12th season. He hasn't improved. If he improved, somebody could say he has, but it's by a slight measure where it's not consistent. He's a tale of two quarterbacks. When he's plugged in, he's arguably a top 5 quarterback. When he's plugged in, that's not he can make all the throws. That means he's an animal. When Matthew Stafford he's an animal, he is like the spike play or the play down the sideline. That's when the clock is ticking out and all that good stuff. And he makes throws, window throws. When he's plugged in, he's that guy. But when he's not, it's like Jekyll and Hyde. He's his worst enemy. He can hold on to the ball too long. He can cause a sack. He can throw an interception. He self-destruct. So I can't depend on him. The Lions say, yeah, we can. He had 14 comeback games. Well, I mean, that's a team effort then. That's not him, because if it was him, then that should be him throughout the whole game. Now it's Matthew Stafford with the 14 comebacks. No, you say I can't pin the win-losses on him, but I can't pin the comebacks on him. Well, no, he's throwing the ball. Well, then if that's who he is in that last 2-minute drive, well, then where is that throughout the rest of the game? All of a sudden, the players want to play? No, they're playing to his level. He's revving them up. Let's go. Let's go play. So if he's doing that there, why he's not doing that prior to the rest of the game? Why is it coming down to the last 2 minutes that he's this efficient? That's why he's not elite in my book, or he's not a franchise quarterback. Would anybody consider Drew Bledsoe a franchise quarterback? They probably would, because what? They played with him, New England played with him for so many years. So he's considered a franchise quarterback. That's by default. That's all that you're stuck with. So I don't know. I consider there's very few franchise quarterbacks that they win year in, year out, or the team doesn't win without them. When they come back immediately, the team start winning. The team plays as the leader. So if he's going to be a franchise quarterback, he's going to be the leader of my team. Then I got to hold all the responsibility on his leadership. Now, somebody say, well, where's the coach? You mean to tell me Dan Reeves is a good coach? Somebody say, well, Dan Marino had Don Shula. Okay, if you want to do that, you could do that all you want. Don Shula's a Hall of Fame quarterback. Okay, I'll give you that. But how many championships have he won? So how is he really that great of a quarterback? I mean, great of a head coach? Because of wins and losses? That's a team thing, right? So Bill Belichick is good as his team. Tom Brady Tom Brady gave him a heck of a leader. And you're able to win with a heck of a leader. Matthew Stafford's not a leader. He's a guy that will give you everything he got, but he's not a leader per se. And I need my franchise quarterback to be a leader. We go as I go. In other words, you know those type of receivers that will say, whatever, just get me the ball. It don't matter if it's crunch time, no matter whatever, just get me the ball. And every time you get them the ball, they do something with it. Matthew Stafford is not the guy that says, give me the team and I'm going to do something with it. When you get to that 2-minute drive and his competitive nature kicks in, yeah, he's plugged in. Or if he's in a rhythm and everything is going right for him, he's not getting pressured or whatever, everything is going right, he's that top 5 quarterback. Other than that, he's the guy that's taking the podium, on the podium, just saying, hey, we got to figure it out. Now it's we. No, it's me. I go as this team go. Aaron Rodgers is that guy. I go as this team goes. That's the reason why he's such a diva. Aaron Rodgers, that is. He's such a diva because this is my team. I want this, I want that. That's why he's such a diva, because it's my team. He knows his value. What I mean by that is that this team does not win without him. It doesn't. That's the very reason why that Chicago Bears doesn't win, because they don't have a franchise quarterback. And that's the point that I make about Matthew Stafford. They don't win because of Stafford. Somebody said, you can't pin it all on him. I'm not pinning on him in terms of wins and losses. I'm saying they're not a winner because of him. In terms of his leadership. Now, would he do everything in a game to win? He would pop his shoulder back in place and come back and throw a winning touchdown. I get that, but that's not who he is. You know what I mean? It clicked in and he did it. Or the spike play, that's who he clicked in and he did it. That's not who he is all the time. If he was that guy all the time, there's no way that team would not follow his lead and they would not win more games than they would win, because that would be a guy to follow. The guy in the 2-minute drive is a guy that you'll go through the wall for. The guy who pops his shoulder back in place is the guy that you go through the wall for. The guy that goes to the podium and says, well, hey, we just got to get better. That's not the guy you go through the wall for. Those are two different guys. And from that perspective, I'm saying he can never be my elite quarterback, and he can never be my franchise quarterback. He can be good enough to get me something better. That's equivalent to me saying about Patricia. Patricia's a builder. The bad thing about it is that he developed something here versus being developed somewhere else and come here and finish it off the deal. Patricia could go somewhere else. He's going to be a better coach. When he goes back to New England, he's going to be a better coach because he was able to have his system tested. He never had his system tested. Some people say he had to test it when he was in New England. I know he did. Bill Belichick was his overseer. So whatever that his miscues were, Bill Belichick can fix it. He was on his own with Detroit. That's when his system got tested. And it somewhat worked. He just didn't have enough inside of him to finish the deal. Now, some people say that's his fault for getting the players in. It's not just that. He only knew what he, in other words, you know how they say, if it doesn't kill you, only make you stronger. That is to say that if once it gets tested, you can see what you're going up against. Now you can know what you can add and take away. But if you've never been tested on your own, you don't really know what you got inside of you. So with that being said, Lions fans, Matthew Stafford, in my opinion, is not an elite quarterback, and he's definitely not my ideal of a franchise quarterback. My ideal is Peyton Manning, even before he won his first title. And I believe when Carwell got there, I believe Tony Dungy, I believe. Tony Dungy got there, and they won with that. But Peyton Manning was a franchise quarterback the day that he came to that team. I couldn't say the same about Stafford. Stafford his history, what he did with Georgia, it was the same. When they drafted him, I was looking at one thing. I was looking at his accuracy. And I wasn't high on getting him. Actually, I was wrong with the guy that I wanted. I believe it was the linebacker that was coming out that I wanted over Stafford. And they got the pick right because he was the best coming out that draft, in my opinion. They got the pick right. It just, in fact, he wasn't the right pick for the Lions team. They needed a Peyton Manning. Now, of course, everybody could say every team needs a Peyton Manning. No, 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 no. What I mean by that is like from a team that's been losing so much, you need a guy. The organization needs a leader. Matthew Stafford is not a leader. He can lead. If you put everything in the right place, he can lead. He's not a leader. And if I were to end it off, I make this example with this type of situation. Like a Phil Jackson, for example. People say Phil Jackson is a great NBA coach. I disagree. He's a coach that can put the icing on the cake. A great coach to me, in my opinion, is Larry Brown. Why? Because he takes a team from worse and it constantly improves. He may not get you over the hump, but they could be at the bottom and they always improve. Always improve. Every team he went to, they was at the bottom and they always go to the top. I'm not going to look at his success with Detroit as like his example of being a Hall of Fame coach. No, the team was ready for him. So he could just come in there and just put the finishing touches on it. That's what Matthew Stafford is. Matthew Stafford is that guy that the team is already assembled and everything else. He could put the finishing touches. This is what I was saying going into this previous season. That's how they should have brought him in. He don't have to carry the team. Just let him be not even a clock manager, but more so just a possession quarterback. Just make it real, just simplify it. Don't make him be the Matthew Stafford that was there for 11 seasons where he's slinging the ball all the time. Run the ball. They refuse to do it. Now, that could be from the coordinator to the head coach job. And that's the reason why I agreed that Matthew Stafford should leave, because the team in other words, he is not a franchise quarterback for the Detroit Lions. Maybe if he was with Barry Sanders in that time of 91, they would win a Super Bowl because the team was ready. They just needed a quarterback to take the next step. This team just didn't need a quarterback. They needed a leader. The Lions back in 91, they had a leader in Barry Sanders and maybe possibly Chris Spielman. Possibly. They had leaders that would come up game in, game out, and they would play at a high level with 100% effort that you not just had, that you kind of like had to raise up your game towards. It's sort of like, okay, when Ndamukong Suh got here, he had Van der Bosch to account for. Van der Bosch came and set the tone. Did he have the talent of Ndamukong Suh? No, but he set the tone. He was the leader. As long as Suh don't have to be the leader, as long as he doesn't have to be a leader, he is the guy. He can be who he is. He don't have to hold that responsibility of the pressure. That's why I say that Matthew Stafford's not that guy. He can't handle that type of pressure. John Elway wants it. Aaron Rodgers wants it. Peyton Manning wants it. Matthew Stafford don't want it. He doesn't want that type of pressure. He was thrown in the fire of it, and he didn't argue about it. He didn't fight with it, whatever. He was thrown in the fire, and he handled it the best way he could. But he's a guy who probably never had to deal with that type of pressure of constantly have to win. So with that being said, that's my piece. Lions fans, I salute.